Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This video, we're looking at the NBA slate for Thursday. We have 9 games today, starting at 7 o'clock, so let's get into it. The regular season is almost over, so we've got to make the most of what we have before the play-in tournament and the playoffs. Yesterday, I posted the updates on Twitter. Didn't have a video out, but it was solid. Once we got a lot of that news late, it was pretty clear to attack some of the Lakers, to go with Jason Tatum. Westbrook was easy to get to with the value, and then guys on the Celtics with like Pritchard was a good value play, so hit over 325 on DK, over 357 on FanDuel, so we cashed on both. Looking to keep it going today, so let's get right into it. As always, appreciate if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get started. So, point guard plays today, we have Damian Lillard is your most expensive guy at $9,500. He looks solid. It's a back-to-back for them. Going up against Phoenix has been very good defensively. Lillard has looked a lot better recently, making a lot more of his shots and being a lot more aggressive with the assist and getting a good amount of rebounds. Think he can fill it up again today at a pretty reasonable price tag with not having any other point guard above 10K. He looks to be one of the best spend-up options. And the second guy is definitely Trae Young. The Hawks clinched their playoff spot last night, but they still have to win some games because the Miami Heat are like half game behind them, so they don't want to drop one. They want to stay in their 5 seed. Young and 9,100 bucks been really good recently. Playing the Wizards and the Pacers will do that to you because they play absolutely no defense. Both of those teams, the Magic, are not much better. Expect Young to continue to have a good game. I think he looks like a great spend up. I might go to Young over Lillard just because the Suns are a lot better defensively. And then we have like LaMelo Ball is $8,500. Don't really want to pay that much for him against the Clippers with Devontae Graham back and with Rozier still there. I don't think I'll pay that much for a LaMelo Ball. I'd rather go down to a DeLon Wright and a John Morant. Both guys are going up against each other. Wright just at 8,100 bucks, been really good in terms of being efficient with his shots and getting you rebounds, assists, steals. He's racked up a ton of steals since he's been in the starting lineup without De'Aaron Fox. Matchup against the Grizzlies, I would say that DeLon Wright looks like a pretty good spend up. Also, you can get to John Morant. And then looking at some value plays here, don't really see anybody besides DeJounte Murray at 7,000. I think he looks fine just because he gives you a lot of upside. Then you can go down to a Malachi Flynn. The Toronto Raptors are going to have 8 guys active today. So Flynn should see a good amount of minutes. He played 29 last game. It was a tough matchup against the Clippers. A lot easier one here against the Chicago Bulls. He looks like an easy guy to get to. Looking at other guys on his team that are point guard eligible, it's Ben Brace, 4,000. Shooting guard, you have Jalen Harris, $3,800. Trent, 6K. And then a guy like Stanley Johnson's going to have to play a lot of minutes. And they really have Birch and Gillespie as their 2 center options. So, at least getting a couple of these Toronto guys, definitely something I would like to do. But besides Flynn, at his price tag, we can go down. Hopefully Jimmy Butler plays today. If he doesn't, then we can look to Kendrick Nunn and Goran Dragic. They both will benefit, even Tyler Hero. And that's it for the value. I don't think right now there's nobody that is super affordable that I'm looking to prioritize. So right now, go ahead and just put in DeLon Wright, given the way he's been playing. Decent matchup against the Grizzlies, and they also are going to be without Bagley again today, who's doubtful. At shooting guard, I like Zach LaVine. He's been good since he's been back. His minutes are back up. Played at 37 against the Nets, was solid out there. Looks to be a pretty good spend-up option. I like him. Probably more than Paul George. I think you could go LeVert instead if you wanted to. Just with the Brogdon out, LeVert's playing big minutes. For value here, Buddy Hield, not super cheap, but $7,900 with them being without Fox again, Barnes, Bagley. Buddy Hield's just going to have to continue to shoot. I think you could do a little bit better and go with like Terrence Davis, who's $5,900, going to be the 6th man off the bench, but still see kind of starter level minutes. Played 30 last few games. Was very good last game. He's going to continue to shoot. They're going to need somebody else to step up offensively besides Buddy Hield and DeLon Wright. So Terrence Davis looks to be a great guy that you can plug in at shooting guard or small forward. And then for value here, you have Jalen Harris, $3,800. Just like him, he's going to see good minutes in at least the high 20s, potentially in the low 30s if they decide to play him over guys like Bembry or Stanley Johnson. He looks to be one of the better value plays on the Toronto side that is filled with a lot of good value. And then other guys in the 3K range, I would say, are nothing sticks out too much depending on some of these Charlotte guys. If see Caleb Martin, if he's back and starts, we'll see, he could be okay. But right now, I don't think there's anybody unless we get some more injury news, which is definitely possible on a 9-game slate. Small forward, at the top you have Butler. If he plays, he looks great. He looks, for me at least, similarly to Michael Porter, he has a little bit more upside. Porter is pretty expensive. I like him on FanDuel more, but he gives you a lot of upside in this matchup. So he should be in consideration. And then you have Kawhi Leonard, 84. He's cheap, but they haven't been giving him, he just hasn't been that exciting to roster all season. I don't know if he's topped over 60 very many times this year. Occasionally he'll get over 50, but I think we can do a little bit better. I don't mind getting to DeMar DeRozan at $7,800. Pretty nice price tag for him. You have Trent. He's going to have to shoot a bunch. I like going to Terrence Davis. $5,900 for him. He's just a guy that can rack up a lot of scoring off the bench, get you some rebounds, some steals. Going to be out there, and the matchup is solid against Memphis. Other guys that look somewhat appealing are maybe you can look in the 4K range for Rudy Gay's been pretty good for them recently, even though he comes off the bench. We've seen him top over 25, 26, even 30. It's a back-to-back for the Spurs if they decide to hold anybody out. Could be Gay, might rest, but I think they'll all play, just fighting for some of the playoff seeding. And then Bembry looks fine. Yeah, Patrick Williams looks all right, and that's kind of it. And Stanley Johnson also. Power forward, I like getting to Giannis, Sabonis. They both look great. You have Randall as a cheap option at $9,400. Sabonis, been awesome for the Pacers. Only took 9 shots last game, but played 40 minutes against the Sixers. Before that, he was playing similar minutes and getting you a lot more shot attempts. He's just a guy that can get you a triple-double upside with a ton of rebounds, get you some blocks and steals. He's going to be one of my favorite spend-ups today. You can easily get up to Giannis also, but with the Pacers having a lot more to play for, I would side with Sabonis without Brogdon. I don't think you can't really go wrong with like Michael Porter Jr. 86. He'll probably drop at least 40. Pretty safe floor in this sort of matchup. I think you can go to Jaren Jackson Jr. against Sacramento. They're going to be without Bagley, so it's a good spot to go with Jaren Jackson. It's going to be matched up with like Maytu and Harkless, some guys that probably won't be able to keep up with Jackson, and hopefully doesn't get into foul trouble against those guys. And then Gordon finally had a decent game last game, one of his first good games since he's been in the... he's been good for them defensively, but one of his first good offensive games since he's been with the Nuggets. He's 51, so he's not that interesting. I like him on FanDuel, where he's like $3,900 still. And then Keldon Johnson killed some people last night. 45 is still a nice price tag, but I think you can go with like Jake Maytu at $4,100 instead. And Watanabe is going to play a bunch. He's $3,900. All these Raptors guys are kind of, besides a couple of them, I think Johnson, Watanabe, Bembry, they're kind of all similar. At center, you can get up to Giannis if you wanted to, or Jokic. Jokic matched up against Towns. He's 11,000. He looks like really good if you wanted to get up to him. For value, we'll see Bamba. Is he going to miss? He's questionable. If he's out, then Wendell Carter looks a lot better. There's no Boucher today, so you're looking at like Kem Birch, 63. He's just going to have to play a bunch of center minutes. And then Jakob Poeltl looks appealing just because he's cheap at 54. He's been pretty solid for the Spurs in terms of in a defensive perspective. He gets you a chance to get a double-double as well. I think I like to go a little bit cheaper for like some of the value plays, but he's fine. I'm going to go with another Sacramento King, and that's Check Metu at $4,100. Should see good minutes in the high 20s, maybe low 30s. In this matchup, the Grizzlies do play big with Jaren Jackson and Valanciunas if he's in. So it should be a good spot for Metu to get some good run today. 41 gives you upside in the like 7 to 8x upside. So pretty nice option to target at your center spot. And then at the guard spot here, you can go with a few guys. I think kind of right now the Kings and Toronto Raptors are the two teams I have the most interest in, just because some of these teams don't have a lot to play for, so we don't know like how motivated they are, how much minutes these coaches are going to play some of these guys, especially the teams that have already kind of locked into their playoff seeding, like the Sixers, or basically I think they clinched the 1 seed. But at the guard spot, somebody's going to have to score the ball on the Raptors. Gary Trent coming off of an absolute dud where he shot 3 of 16. Still played good minutes. Tough matchup. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they can shut anybody down. He's only made 8 of his last 36 shots. So hopefully he kind of goes back to being hot, because if he does make good amount of his shots, he should crush value at 6,000 just without all the guys that normally score on the Raptors. So that's pretty much it for DraftKings. The Raptors, Kings are the two best teams to target right now based on the injury news. You can get up to guys like Sabonis, get up to Giannis, Jokic. They're my favorites. So let's talk about FanDuel now. All right, on FanDuel here, point guard plays, we have Trae Young, looks solid, $8,600, really affordable. DeLon Wright looks good at $8,300. You can go down to like a Ja Morant, LaMelo, they both are in play. And then you have still Simmons affordable, but hopefully Embiid is back today. You have Malachi Flynn, looks like a solid option. And then depending on Butler news, we can look to Kendrick Nunn / Goran Dragic. And then even Cole Anthony at 5,000 isn't the worst play. Jalen Harris looks to be a solid option. So a lot of good options here at point guard. Young's been balling out. He's $8,600. Think he looks like a pretty easy guy to get to today. Hopefully he stays hot shooting. If not, you can go with DeLon Wright and hope that Wright's going to play similar minutes. He's a guy that can get you blocks and steals. Has similar upside. Young has a lot higher of a ceiling, but Wright, as we've seen, when he gets like a bunch of steals, he can put up 60. So I think I might go with Wright just as a lower owned option. At shooting guard, you can go with LeVert. He's 9,000. I'd probably go down to like a Paul George instead at 78. He's very affordable. Yeah, Buddy Hield looks good at $7,200. Terrence Davis, a little bit more expensive than he is on DraftKings, but still in play at $6,300. But it's going to be Trent as one of my favorites, just because 49 is just so cheap for a guy that's going to play so many minutes today, with them having just 8 guys active. So hopefully he makes his shots, because he kind of due for a good shooting game at this point. Small forward, Butler looks great if he plays at $9,300. Other guys that look very good are Michael Porter, $7,400, really nicely priced. You have RJ Barrett, $6,200. He's been playing great, except for the last game and playing a bunch of minutes. And then you can go with Mo Harkless, $5K. And that's kind of it for the main guys. So for me, I'm going to go with Michael Porter Jr. Just a really good spot against Minnesota. They play no defense. Should be a high-scoring game. And they've actually been competitive recently, so I expect this game to be close. Looks to be a good game to get to at least a couple of pieces from. And MPJ at that price tag looks really good. At center, at power forward, we can pay up for a guy. There's Sabonis and Giannis at the position. Prefer Sabonis just because he's been doing so much without Brogdon, and I expect that to continue. Don't mind going to Randall either at $9,000, and then you can go all the way down to a $3,900 Aaron Gordon. If Valanciunas is out, then Tillman is an absolute lock at that price tag. And the last but not least, at center, you can go up to Jokic. You can go down to maybe a Valanciunas if he plays. You can go to if Butler is out, then Bam looks great. And then I would kind of look to a DeAndre Ayton at that price tag at only $6,200. You have Birch. And then if you wanted to go all the way down, you can go with Checkmate to, again, he's 50, he's playing only 40, maybe 42 or $4,100, $4,200. Good matchup against the Grizzlies in terms of just going to have to be out there because they play big and they're without Bagley. So young guy, Kings, and they're technically still alive. I think in the play-in, their magic number is like 1. So even if they went out, they need like an abundant amount of help. They're not in the playoff mix. Checkmate 2 should get you good minutes. They want to probably see what he has after the season ends. They only have a couple games left. So I think he looks good at $4,200. Hopefully has a very good game in terms of getting you maybe a double-double and then getting you some block shots as well. So that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck tonight, and I'll see you all next time.